Okay, estudiantes, today we are going to take notes on a new concept, still working on the preterite tense. And I apologize, I still have my cold. So, uh, sorry about that as I'm going through the notes. We'll do the best we can here. So, the preterite tense, we have talked about this throughout the week. Let's just review what we already know. I already provided some of this information already, so let's just walk you through it and then we'll talk about the new stuff that we'll be looking at today. So, we know from our information this week, the preterite is used to speak in the past. So, when we talk about past events, we've been looking at AR verbs. Our AR endings are a, aste, o, amos, astes, arron. And we just take off our AR ending, put our new ending back on. Today, we're going to be looking at a spelling change that's going to happen. So when I want to use a couple of verbs from three different groups, and I want to change it in the preterite form, there's a spelling change we're going to be looking at. So the groups that we're going to talk about are what we call CAR, GAR, ZAR verbs. So if you notice, the last three letters, for example, in the CAR group are CAR. So if they have the last three letters of CAR, they're going to be included in this group. Say with the GAR group, the last three letters GAR, we group them together. And we have ZAR, the last three letters ZAR. So we have a list of verbs we'll be working with specifically in this chapter. I did provide the definitions here for you if you need to write them out on your notes, just so you have them. We have sacar, to take or to take out. So think of the expression like sacar la basura. Buscar is to look for, to search. Tocar is to touch. Tocar could also be to play an instrument. Practicar, to practice. And then in the next group here, llegar is to arrive. Jugar is to play, like to play a sport or to play a game. And pagar is to pay. The last group with the ZAR verbs, we have comenzar, to start or to begin, and then almorzar, to eat lunch. Okay, so once you have those definitions on your notes, let's talk about how are we going to use these verbs in the preterite, the past tense. So the spelling change we're going to look at today, it says for number 3, this spelling change happens in the yo form only. So when I want to conjugate any of these three groups in the preterite, if it's any other form on my verb, like, I'm sorry, any other form of the verb on the charts here, like the to form or the la usted form, we just take off the ending, put our new ending back on, same as what we've been doing throughout this week when we talked about the preterite. However, if we want to use these three groups in the yo form, then we need to apply a spelling change. So let's look at what that spelling change would be. So if it's a car verb, C-A-R, so normally we just take off our ending, put our new ending back on. However, we need a different ending here, a spelling change. So C is going to change to Q-U, and then we're going to add our preterite ending. We have the yo form, right? So we have A. That will be our new ending here. So I'm going to just put an example over here, and you can write this out as well. So if I want to say, I took out the trash. So we know sacar is to take, but I'm talking about past events. I took out the trash. Excuse me. So normally we take off the AR ending, right? But if I try to add my ending back on, this isn't going to work in Spanish. It's not going to preserve the pronunciation, the same sound like sacar. I need kind of that K sound. So what I would need to do then is change the C here in my verb to QU and then add my ending. So sake would be I took out the trash. If it's a GAR verb, we're going to have GU is G changes to GU and then add your ending. So for example, if I said I played soccer, so jugar is our verb, right? To play. So I'm going to say I played. So I'm going to take out my ending. G changes to GU and add your new ending back on. So if I said yo jugué al fútbol, that would be I played soccer. Excuse me, sorry. Okay, and then the last one, ZAR. Let's say I want to communicate I ate lunch. So we know almorzar is to eat lunch. So in this new spelling, if it's a ZAR verb, Z is going to change to C, and I'm going to add my ending. So let's look at this. Almorzar. So I take off my AR ending. Now this Z needs to change to C because I want to get kind of that S sound almost, almorzar. So Z will change to C, add your ending. Almorcé, almorcé is I ate lunch. So notice with these examples here, you can use any of the verbs in the different categories, but these will be our new endings. So car would be QUE, GAR would be GUE, ZAR would be CE rather than just our regular ending here. And remember, this is only the yo form. So let's look at a couple of practice activities here. So yo, and we have llegar a casa temprano. So it says, I arrived home early. So llegar is our verb. That's a GAR verb, right? So we're going to look at this new spelling change. It's the yo form. So llegar is my verb, right? Take off your AR ending. G is now going to change to GU. Add my new ending. Yo llegué a casa temprano. Now in number 2, mi mamá, we have jugar. We're gonna look at here, mi mamá, jugar. That is not a yo form, so I do not need to do any of these spelling changes here. I just take off my ending, jugar, take off your ending, add your preterite ending back on. So mi mamá jugó al fútbol ayer. How about 2? We have practicar. So to form, no need to worry about spelling changes. We just take off our ending, practicaste. So add our new preterite ending back on. So you practiced sports. The yo form, we see a yo form here. So now we know it's a car verb. So we need to make the spelling change. So I have yo toqué la guitarra. I played the guitar. Nosotros and pagar, so no spelling change here. So we're just going to use our regular preterite ending. Pagamos la cuenta. Then we have yo and almorzar. So we have almorzar. So notice this is the yo form. It's a ZAR verb. So we just talked about this kind of in our example here. Z is going to change to C. So almorzar. Siete, el partido. So remember when we see this is not a person, but we're saying the game began at 6. So we want to just change it in the el, ella, usted form. So if it's one thing like the game, then you're going to use the el, ella, usted form. Comenzó, no spelling change because it's not the yo form. And the last one, yo jugué al tenis ayer. So the gar verb and the yo form. So we do need to do these spelling changes. All right, and that's our notes for today. Just kind of recognize these spelling changes, but if it's any other form, use your regular preterite AR endings. And if it's not a car, gar, zar verb, just conjugate the preterite tense like we've been working with our regular endings.